You're listening to the Shit You Can't Make Up podcast, a conversation with friends, hosted by Marisol Sanchez.
Hello! Merry Christmas. This is the Christmas episode of Marisol's podcast, Shit You Can't Make Up, which is different than the one I've been doing with my friend Beth. We did a Christmas one too, and it was actually a lot of fun. And great numbers again. Thank you for listening. This one's different. Goes to the I don't know what you want to call it. A year. I'm thinking I started this on, I think it's Father's Day, or my birthday. I'm not sure. I think I have 20 podcasts in. If you haven't listened, I would suggest you listen before you listen to this one, because if you kind of know my history, it might be a little more interesting. To some people, this isn't interesting at all, and I completely understand. This is for the person out there who maybe didn't have a great Christmas, or maybe in the future. So that's the great thing about podcasts. You can listen to them later. Doesn't have good holiday cheer. They can listen to this. Or if you're bored and cleaning and you want to hear someone process their shit, then you can also jump in. So if you listened to those podcasts, you probably knew this one was coming up. And I think it's actually very sweet, because a lot of people, I kind of always get a lot of people checking in on me. I'm lucky that way about the holidays. I guess my psychosis or neurosis. By the way, I am not a certified therapist, so none of these terms do not hold me to anything. This is just my personal life experience. But I have these breakdowns around holiday times. I'm not a holiday person. I again, go back, listen to my birthday podcast. For me, it's I don't know, it's a trigger. It's just right. And I think it's for a lot of people. And I also kind of want to just get it out and be done with it and move on, because today's the first Monday after Christmas, which is always a happy time for me, like when you kind of get back into the routine of things. Like, I like the day-to-day. My day-to-day life is pretty awesome, but holidays, not so much. And that's kind of has always been the case. I'm not playing the victim, because I think I've had great holidays too, and they haven't every single one been miserable. I have so much to be grateful for, and if I focus on the things to be grateful for, everything is so much better in my life. But I've had probably, when I say Christmas, it's not actually December 25th, because my actual December 25th wasn't bad. Because halfway through the day, I had a friend come over, and we actually ended up watching a ton of romantic comedies and having a lot of fun together. So that technically Christmas wasn't bad, but the whole season starting for me this time around. And again, if you listen to previous podcasts, that's one thing I gotta say. Every year it's getting that the period of crazy is shorter. Not crazy, that's not a technical term. The period of sadness and depression is shorter. This year is really intense for me. This year I got triggered December 19th. It started. And I knew my kids were leaving. I'm divorced and share custody of my children. Though this isn't really sharing custody, because they've been with my ex every Christmas since the divorce. And it's not a legal situation. It's a combination of just our life experiences as a family, and part of that, my, what I bring to the table, is I'm not a good holiday mom. I'm not. I love my children. They know that. I want to give them, that hashtag quote Norman Rockwell childhood. By God, so the 19th I got. I don't know. I started thinking about my mom. I didn't call her, but I was thinking about her. Just thinking about her. And all those December 19th before, how she must have felt. And then thinking about my brother. Like, I never really think about my brother in the sense of, like, what he would be like. And there's so many things to be grateful for. I can go all sad and teary-eyed. But I also thought of my nephew that I, reconnected with in the last few years. And December 19th doesn't necessarily have to be a tragically sad day, but I guess it is. Even though I again, it's not, like I was 9 when my brother died. I think I was 9. Yeah, I was 9. But I'm 42 now, and it's only now that I'm really understanding the effects that had on my mother, which in turn in my childhood, which in turn in all my relationships and who I am. Well, not who I am, but my behaviors and stuff. If you listen to the Thanksgiving podcast, I had a great Thanksgiving. So this is, it's getting better. But I also kind of knew Christmas was going to suck because I knew I wasn't going to have my kids. I got triggered around my brother's birthday. This year, my children wanted to be in Chicago as much as they could over this holiday break, and it wasn't a rejection of me. It was more wanting to be with their grandmother and grandfather, and just their family. And I love my in-laws, and the Christmases that were probably the best were the ones when I was married. I think I've said that before. Though I still probably suffered from depression, and I was kind of, one day want to have a drink with my ex-husband and be like, hey, sorry. I was not always probably the most joyful of people to be around. But I wasn't. I was not around the holidays. So I got triggered. My brother's birthday, December 19th. Then it was the kids, and they weren't being mean, and it wasn't a reflection of me or how they feel about me. It was just kids being kids and what they wanted. But that I hadn't seen them for Thanksgiving, and basically almost every major holiday this year, I have not been with them. Just made me sad. Started to make me sad. And that I want to talk a little bit about what that feels like. Like, what if I think people think depression. I don't know. I think it's like anything. There's just a spectrum, and it comes in different ways. And mine feels a particular way. Mine, it's like a cloud. The way I would describe it, it's like clothes. It's like something that's physically put on me, and it's heavy and very dense and dark. And every day that coat gets heavier and heavier and darker, to the point that it gets so heavy that all I just want to do is sleep. I just want to sleep. I don't want to be awake. I'm awake. I'm aware of the coat. I don't want to be aware of the coat. I don't want to wear the coat. I want the coat to be gone. And that's what I do. And that's what I did. the day probably the day that my kids were leaving, I was trying so hard to not be sad, but that kind of came off as really bitchy. Like everything was just like painful, everything. Um, to the point that when they left, I was happy that they were leaving for Chicago and that they were leaving for my in-laws and they were leaving with their dad because honestly, I think that would be what was best for them, and that's why they had these last 3 holidays with my in-laws. Um, but I don't want that. I don't want my next Christmas or every Christmas it to be that way. That I will make that, I mean, my kids, the older two, are going to be freshmen next year, and I don't want their memories of me being, sad, depressed mommy on Christmas. I don't want that. Or bitchy. Just, I mean, I invoke my mother. I don't think I do that on a day-to-day basis. Not that I'm not proud of some aspects of my mom. When I feel really tired and just like, overwhelmed by stuff, I think about her and I'm like, shit, she had 4 kids. She came from Honduras, no education, and didn't speak the language, and fuck. And look, at me today. So I can acknowledge all these wonderful things about my mom now, which I think is very healing, and I've grown from that. But I also have to acknowledge that she got depressed around. Like I don't know what my brothers are like around the holidays. I mean the Christmas. I mean we haven't spent a Christmas together. I don't even know. I'd kind of be scared to my neck. Wouldn't want it to be sad. I don't know. And maybe we can change that. But, ugh. Christmas just feels like everyone, and I know this isn't the truth, but this is what it feels like. It feels like everyone just got invited to this awesomest day of the world, and I didn't get an invitation. Though I know that's not the reality. I actually did get invitations, and thank you for all of you who invited me over, but I couldn't do that either. I couldn't be the strange single person without children at someone's, even though I love y'all like my family, just would, I would be focused more on the fact that I'm not there yet. I'm not grateful enough to be at someone else's Christmas Eve dinner or Christmas dinner and not feel, I did not want to do this episode. I did not feel lonely. Can I hashtag this? I hate Christmas. Oh God. But anyway, that's the past. That's everything. Even this Christmas, thankfully, is in the past. The past, I invoke my mom. These are the days that I invoke her. I remember my mom not being able to get out of bed. And when I say not being able to, that's how I feel. I mean, maybe I'd have to check with my brothers, but it's a physical thing. Like, I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep. Like, being awake is just hard. Other thing about, I realized this year that there's a couple things I am hopeful because I don't want this next year. I don't want to do this podcast next year. I kind of hope I can get through a year with my like holidays and like next birthday or next Father's Day, whenever I start, I'd be like, this is the fucking best Father's Day or birthday ever. I want to get there, and I think I'm getting better every year. And next year I will have my children with me, and it's going to be a goal of mine. It's not going to be perfect because I have to let go of that, but I want it to be real, and I want my kids to have good memories and of me around Christmas time. Um, and I think I'll get there. But something I did observe over this like shitty last few days is I don't make the best choices when I'm depressed about myself. And that's a different podcast for another day. But I did realize that. So I think that kind of feeds into the cycle of depression because it's sort of like eating or drinking or doing anything that's doesn't serve you or um, serve you in a positive way. You kind of keep doing it, like the shittier, like I would start to eat and I wasn't even hungry anymore. I'd keep fucking just shoveling food in my mouth. I wasn't even hungry. And I don't drink a lot. I know there's pictures of me from Thanksgiving with a lot of Patron. I personally feel like Patron should give me a sponsorship. For as much as I talk about Patron, at least on my personal Facebook page, but I don't actually. It's just my drink of choice right now, and so when I drink, it's what I drink. But I don't drink often. But I did these last few days. And just I didn't practice yoga. I didn't meditate. I didn't do anything. I didn't pray. I didn't list out things that I'm grateful for. I didn't do the things that I do that I know takes care of me. I basically did the opposite. And I did it in all my relationships pretty much. Anyway, that's another podcast. I know I go off. This is not linear. I'm so sorry. I'm trying. All right, we're rounding the corner. New Year's Eve is coming. That one actually is a fine holiday. How can you not be hopeful beginning of the new year? I have a little bit, like I'm getting a little bit anxious thinking about 2016, but I think that ties into specific things. But you're always hopeful. It's a new year, new start, new beginnings. Like the start of a school year, just another chance. So you don't be expecting like a sad, morose New Year's Eve episode. And I do think I'm hoping, I'm praying that next Christmas will be a great Christmas. And I think I can do it, I wanted to end this with something. Okay, well, I'll end it this way. When I started this, a lot of people kept asking me, well, what's the point? Like, I don't want to listen to your problems. Like, I don't want to listen to my problems. For my friends who do listen, thank you. You don't have to. Like, I know when we catch up, you get a very quick gist of it all. For those that it does help, that's awesome, and thank you. I appreciate that. But I think I started out, everything was very nebulous. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to do something. And I kind of, 2020, looking back at the podcast, kind of see a theme emerging, which is not so much shit you can't make up, or at least it would be like shit you can't make up holiday edition. Or just, I don't know, maybe just a voice that kind of says that all the stuff you see on Facebook and all the stuff you see on TV and all levels of media of what it's supposed to be like and what life is supposed to feel like and what your Christmases are supposed to be like maybe those expectations are just a bit high, A, or not realistic, and that what's really important is creating moments and experiencing joy, which is probably why I hate Christmas, because it's, it's a time you see it. You see that. I remember someone's sign driving in the house decoration, someone had joy lit up, and I remember just driving and just like looking at it, just with this, I could feel like the deep 11s crease in my eyes, like joy, like I can't relate. So maybe there's other people out there who can't relate, who feel inauthentic in the holidays and have a hard time and get depressed and don't have shit to say on Facebook, because you just like, you don't want to know what I'm feeling, Facebook. You really, really don't. You don't. Because it's not good. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to end it with that. So there's my Christmas episode, which if you've listened, you would be kind of raw and emotional. I will laugh my ass off if this did not record. It did record. I don't know when I'm going to post it. It's Monday the 28th. My kids are coming back. Yay! And, I don't know when I'll post it. It'll be as soon as I can. But that's when it was recorded. Plus, I don't want to really throw it out there too close to Christmas. Like, I want to give a little bit of distance. Thank you for listening. I don't even know if I'm still on iTunes. I got some notification that they're removing me because of, I think, the name. I'm not really clear. But still, some people are downloading it and finding it. So thank you. It's currently Shit You Can't Make Up. Marisol's podcast, Shit You Can't Make Up, on iTunes. I did try changing the I in shit to an exclamation point. God. One day we'll get the branding right. So not anytime soon. You can also find it on my website, which is shityoucan'tmakeupyou.com, and I have it updated. Anything on there. Again, kind of haven't been in the mood. Would have made it all black. But I will be trying to update that and just be more consistent with this whole project that I'm doing. And that's all. I think the next podcast is going to be one with my friend, I hope. Something light and funny. Again, I know it's two different, podcasts, and we're just trying to figure it out. But thanks for hanging in, and I really do hope everyone had a great Christmas. I know that a lot of people didn't. I think that also kind of added to my Christmases. I know a lot of people lost this year. I had one friend who just so much shit happened to in the last week, I think. Someone lost a spouse, someone lost a child this year. It's just, or two people actually lost a child. So, for all of us, thank you. And I will see you next time, or talk to you next time. Thanks for listening.